when it's silver.
핫6 GSL 시즌2 포데스.
We are now moving on to the losers match in today's GSL Code S. One of these two Protosses, their story ends here.
Yeah, and obviously you would think that Zest will win, but Creator, he played one absolutely awesome, fantastic game today and then kind of bungled a couple.
Yeah, he kind of crashed and burned. He was like riding a high, looking amazing, and then forgot Warp Gate in Game 2. And I think that was too much of a psychological blow. Fell apart in Game 3. And now he's against Zest. Now, Zest is supposed to go on and win this best of 3, but anything can happen. A lot of pressure on Zest here. I think Creator went into this group fully aware of where he's perceived to be at in comparison to these other players. And sometimes that can be helpful. If you're expected to lose, all you can really do is try your best. I think he almost freaked himself out after Game 1 against the Live.
So it could be.
Yeah.
Like, I think definitely when he realized that he didn't have Warp Gate, that freaked him out.
Yeah.
And I think that was driven on by the Reaper finding where he wanted to proxy so quickly before he could make a Stargate.
Yeah.
You know, like just his stuff started going wrong early.
Well, you got that moment where you realize, oh my God, I'm so much better than this. And this is my documented game. This is the game the world sees.
Indeed.
But in the GSL Code S, there is always chance for redemption.
Creator with no Warp Gates, his buildings are paperweights.
In the upper left, he is
Zest.
Golden.
That's right. Because he is a champion.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the Zerg player.
In the bottom right, in the red, he is
Jin Air Greenwings. Creator.
It'll be cool to see how these guys want to play here. The variety of ways that you can play PvP at this point has gotten out of control. There's like so many different builds that you can use. There's so many openings. There's so many unit comps that you can kind of tech into that just like, I mean, it's a pretty wild and awesome matchup right now. So Creator, from what I've seen, oftentimes plays pretty standard. Zest tends to play a little bit aggressively here, not necessarily in like one base, but definitely you can see him try to execute like some fast glaive kills and, you know, stuff like that.
He likes to initiate early on.
Yeah. This is where he differentiates himself from a lot of Protosses. His control is immaculate, his execution, like he stays on top of every single task he needs to. But that's also a place where, you know, sometimes Zest can make a mistake, right? If he's like, well, I'm just going to kill him with this, and then his opponent gets a better strategy off, like a counter strategy.
Sure.
That's somewhere where, like, well, you don't need to necessarily be as good mechanically as Zest, and you can win here.
And because, to what you were saying, Artosis, there's such a variance in different builds, there's also a lot of different ways that you can fake out a build to make it look like another build. So a lot of times the first few minutes in a PvP are by far the most important out of the entire game as they try to read each other and figure out if they can respond properly.
Looks like Zest wants to go for a fast expansion.
Yeah, that's
probably
what it's sizing up to be.
And Creator. Oh, no, I guess they're both
Stargate.
Stargate.
Okay.
Well, this is always fun, too, right? Because if one person goes Oracle and the other goes Phoenix, then you can definitely have a big lead right there.
Well, keep in mind that the first pylon here for Zest was put on the low ground. Now, that could have been one of those fake-out moves.
Well, when he started making just one Adept and puts a pylon down there, as Creator, you might look at that and say, oh, are you just going to, like, expand really fast? You know?
Yeah.
Obviously not the case, but...
Also, keep in mind, with both these Stargates coming here... Hold up. Okay, now we have the first Nexus. That's when we can really start to talk about what's happening here in this game. Now, we want to see when or if and when the Nexus is made here for Zest. Now, there's an Oracle being made here first for Creator. If we have a Phoenix being made first here for Zest, this tends to just counter the Oracle and put you in a bad spot.
I think he had enough info to have a decent idea that Phoenix would be reasonable here. If you shade up and they just are sitting there with 2 Adepts, it's like, well, you didn't make any more gateway units, so you spent your money somewhere. And even if it's like a Robo, like the Phoenix is not a bad unit. Phoenixes are fine against that. So I think it's like a pretty good call from him. And obviously if he catches the Oracle, he's going to be in great shape. Oh, God, now he sees it.
Okay, so he can get his Phoenix in position. Now, also keep in mind there's a second Oracle being made here for creators. So if you're both on Stargate, sometimes you're stuck going Phoenixes. But in this case, like he's going to be so behind with this. He might get these Adepts, which that's great, I guess.
That's good.
It's certainly something. But here come those Phoenixes now.
Yeah, and this just tells him that he's going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage. That was a lot of gas that went into that Oracle. The second one might be able to find a way in for damage.
Well, it looks like that second one is headed northbound over here to the northeast, but I think if he actually comes into the northwest area, he is going to be intercepted by the Phoenixes here of Zest. Zest is, oh my God, he pulled down just the last second. Oh, wow.
Ooh. Yeah, he just might not know. Still, Zest is pretty well defended. Like, I know he has Stalkers at his natural. He probably has a Mothership Core in the main. So, probably there's not going to be a lot of damage from this Oracle.
Okay, here he comes now, targeting down these probes. Looks like he's going to get at least 4.
Yeah, this is pretty nice, and definitely you suicide it here, too. Hey, 7 probes.
Kills is really good.
Legit right there. That's super legit. 7 kills.
34 workers to 26 workers, 28 now, excuse me. And now he's going to go ahead and pick up some of these Stalkers over here.
Yeah, just well, here it's like, okay, you lost a few extra probes over your opponent, but the Phoenixes are going to be a gift that just keeps on giving. Phoenixes, if you can have Phoenixes and not be behind in PvP, it's amazing. Because first off, if you have more Phoenixes than your opponent, he can't make Phoenixes, which means that he can't counter Disruptors except really with Disruptors, right? And they pick up Immortals, they pick up Disruptors themselves, they give you harass all game long. Phoenixes are just, if you have them, and it's like basically everything else is equal, you have a lead.
It's crazy because you look at like the Oracle, for instance, and sure, he got a lot of kills right away there, but he had to lose the Oracle, and the Oracle doesn't have anywhere near the same degree of equity as a group of Phoenixes do. Once again, these Phoenixes come in here and immediately get some kills.
Yeah, and he'll have to use overcharges all game.
That's right.
To just kind of defend against them. The Oracle did more immediate damage, but again, as long as he keeps these alive, you can't Prism drop, you can't make Disruptor. Like, there's just so many things, and you don't need to overmake the Phoenixes. Like, 4 is good. If you make too many, then he'll go Colossus and try to kill you, but as is, Zest has to be feeling on top of things.
Note, he did not get more Phoenixes here. He's trying to also keep a balanced army to compete along with Zest, or rather, Creator's ground army here. He is also getting his Immortals out now. Now, do note, though, that Creator is taking the third base. That's one thing Phoenixes can't stop you from doing a lot of times, is expanding. Assuming that they don't catch the probe there.
That's very true. And in fact, that's like a good counter against Phoenixes a lot of times, because you put that much money into Phoenixes, you don't really have the ground army to kill your opponent at the moment. So
now, with that being said, though, it could end up forcing Zest into attacking on 2 bases because he has the Phoenixes. He can pick up any key units, remove them from the fight while his army pushes forward and crushes everything. But instead, Zest makes his own third.
Yeah, not a bad call. He scouts when his opponent's is. The thing is, he's up on tech right now. He's making some Immortals, because obviously you have to make Blink Stalkers against Phoenixes, to some degree at least. So if he just goes like Glaive Immortal, he has a more cost-efficient unit set. It's kind of like a ground pounder set. And normally if you have Blink Stalkers, the way you want to counter that is Disruptors, but there's already 4 Phoenixes. So what do? Do you make 4 Disruptors that cost more than 4 Phoenixes and have them lifted? Probably not.
Yeah. Exactly. Double gas is now being taken here at this expansion. For Zest right now, his Templar Archives is almost done. Whereas Templars are already coming out right now here for Creator. Creator has, in some sense, this tech lead as far as ground composition goes, because he didn't really invest that much into his starports.
Yeah, that is, it's something that's working out for him, and he has like a nice quick third base and all that. He hasn't lost too many probes, I guess, although he is behind economically now. It's just, this is what happens when you open Oracle against Phoenix,
Yeah. So there is this hidden pylon out here. And it looks like he does want to set up to have some adepts that can shade in and hit this third base if it's Zest who tries to do any kind of timing push.
Now, Zest adding a second robotics and going into, either Colossus or Disruptor Tech. Colossus are making a big comeback in this matchup. And when you already have Phoenixes, you definitely can go Colossus, because Disruptor is can be a counter against Colossus in a way. But if you can't really make them again as Creator. Creator has to just make a good army with lots of stuff in it and get something done, and hopefully pick some Phoenixes off, that type of thing.
A lot of times when the two armies crash into each other, it can end up with just a few Immortals fighting a few Immortals, which is kind of funny. But usually the follow-up from that is to try to make a bunch of Zealots and Archons or something like that, something that you can replenish right away to try to flood the remaining base if it hasn't been destroyed yet.
Yeah, if there's not splash damage out, then suddenly Zealots do very, very well. Or, you can use Adepts in the same type of way as well.
Sure, yeah.
Both of them are solo gas, 0 and 25, respectively. The Archon is a great unit to combo with that. Now,
it's a way that you can spend all your money at once and have it attack in so fast. And it doesn't really fear an army that just, like you were saying, that does not have splash at all.
Now look at this. Zest is going into Disruptors, which you can't be too surprised about. Oh, look, he's actually keeping 4 Templars here to feedback. So it looks like he wants to feedback these, try to just kill off the Phoenixes next time he sees them. But the tech of Creator is very interesting. I think he's going up to Carriers, because if you can get into Carriers, they're the best unit in PvP. Nothing counters Carriers in PvP.
It's the hardest thing to get to in this matchup, because while you're doing it, first of all, it takes a long time. They don't make very quickly. But then also, while you're doing that, they have the opportunity to try to take all these bases or do these certain timing attacks to you. Scary.
He's actually getting Mothership right now. And he only has 1 Stargate, so I guess that kind of makes sense. I'm a little bit surprised because he doesn't really necessarily have anything that just destroys detection. You know what I mean? If you have Phoenixes and you go into... Oh, he's making his own Phoenixes. Okay, this actually makes everything make a lot more sense.
Okay, he's going to try to push up here. Nice job there with the feedbacks. I couldn't have said it better myself, Artosis. Ooh.
Yeah, he can feedback some of these sentries while he has so many feedbacks.
He's going for it. The Disruptors are in position. And we see the army for Creator forking out in 2 different directions. This Nexus is very vulnerable.
It's going to be taken out. He just has to run away. He needs for this Mothership to finish. It is so important. He's put so much money into getting a Mothership here. It's 300, 200, and 400, 400? So it's so much money for this Mothership.
Unfortunately, this base was stamped out before he was able to get that army that's sophisticated to maybe combat what his opponent's throwing at him.
Second starport on the way. Seeing the Mothership being warped in from Creator, Zest getting Observer Speed and Oracles, both of which will help out immensely against this, so the Cloak is not really going to matter as much anymore.
Yeah. But of course, getting the Observers and the Oracles, that's a lot of gas you're spending just to make sure you can see their army. And sometimes you end up filling in the rest of that with more of these Tier 1 units that are low gas cost and slightly higher mineral cost.
Yeah. And as more Phoenixes are added here for Creator, he can gain the Phoenix advantage now. It's been long enough. He's killed a couple of them already, and he's actually getting Phoenix range as well. So if he gets a decent amount of that, and he can just lift his opponent's units, and the thing is, Phoenixes kill Observers in a millisecond because there's nothing else flying in the army generally.
That's right.
Especially if you're the Mothership user. So that can script the detection, but with the added Oracles and Observer Speed, I think Zest is not going to die to just having no detection.
Creator's flirting with the idea of pushing out on the map. He's now going back because it seems like Zest is interested in poking in to this base in the upper right.
I like that, flirting with the idea. That's really good, actually. You should say that more often. That's really good.
I should. It's the new casting meta, Artosis. Hold up. Hold up. This is a really good arc right now here for Zest. He's got a lot of Disruptors. I don't know if the Phoenixes here of Creator can actually get over to the Disruptors here for Zest.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard for them to get in there. There's not that much damage on the ground. The Archons are going to definitely deal some, but I think he has enough to cancel all the
Here we go. Oh, nice pickups right before that can connect onto the army of the Mothership Core.
Oh, my God. And he's actually taking down the Observers in a matter of seconds.
Oh, my God. And he keeps picking up these Disruptors. These Disruptors have been completely useless. Creator is killing it.
Yeah, really good play there out of Creator. Even has that range on these Phoenixes. Another Observer comes in. But again, you kill those so quickly. You have to be tagging with an Oracle against this type of composition. And GG is called.
Creator did it. Oh, my God. Zest might get knocked out of the GSL Code S.
This is a new style of PvP that's been popping up recently. We saw one player do it. Billowy did it against, I can't remember, Deer. And Deer just, he had the detection. Billowy was missing the Observer to gun down the other Observers, and that's why he lost. Here, the Observers got gunned down, and there wasn't another Oracle tag. You have to be like kind of almost sneaky about keeping your Oracle behind and flying it in and then tagging to make sure that you can actually fight the ground army.
I do want to point out here, the mindset that Zest probably has right now, this cannot be a good feeling. These two Terrans that Zest was once way better than both of them. We're fighting it out in the winners match. They looked really good, really scary. Zest has already been outclassed by one of them. Now he's in the losers part of this group in a PvP against a player he is supposed to beat no matter what. Zest, the person we used to look to understand the new era of Protoss, is now possibly going to be eliminated by Creator, the biggest underdog in the round of 32. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
Zest.
in the bottom left, in the red, he is
Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
Yeah, and Zest made such an ultimate army there. Like, his army was very, very good. But strategically fell down just a little bit. Even getting the Oracle once he saw the Mothership, but not getting that tag off when it was most needed. Very cool from Creator, though. Definitely showing tonight so far in Game 1 against Alive and now Game 1 against Zest. Completely aware of like the most recent meta in both matchups. Like he's like this Mothership stuff is, people have been toying with it, but this was a good, clean execution of getting into the, you know, what you're looking for basically with those Phoenixes.
By the way, Zest
observers.
Sorry, by the way, Zest is going to manage to scout his opponent first. Luck on his side here. We'll see that so far they're basically doing the same builds.
Yeah, this is kind of the standard to this opening. Neither one walling the ramp. It's a 4-player map, so makes sense in a way. And I would say positionally, you know, this is a rotationally symmetric map. These positions favor Zest slightly. Not just because he's scouted first, that's a luck-based thing, but because his natural blocks the path to his main. So if you want to prism inside of Zest's main, you just have to fly a lot further as Creator, whereas
that's right.
Zest has a lot of surface area to work with warp prisms.
Or you'd have to be flying above at the upper right part of the map with the warp prism, and that's just risky business to get over there.
It's a long ways. Like, you might even have to fly all the way around. If map control is Zest, you might have to fly all the way around even the Watchtower, which is, you know, that takes a long time.
Stargate now coming down here for Creator. Zest getting 2 Stalkers. And we have one probe hidden down here in the bottom center. I don't know if that's going to be used for anything, but we want to keep our eyes peeled on that probe in case it does start to make any structures, pylons, or anything else on the map.
Ooh, caught by Zest right there, Creator. Maybe just trying to hide it so he could sneak in and see if there was a Nexus, but unfortunately doesn't get any additional information. Both players Nexus about the same time.
Oracle on the way.
This build, if he throws on a Robo here, let's see. Yeah, okay, this is literally the safest build in PvP, is to get 4 Stalkers, Nexus, and a Robo, and you're getting a Sentry with it. So, like, you will basically live through everything with this, but if you look at which build order you want here, it's Creator's. Creator's is like, better, Zest is safer. Zest is like, I am not losing right now.
Yeah, well, in some senses, Zest is okay playing from a little bit of a deficit as long as he doesn't lose to anything crazy. I mean, Creator has had really hot games, really cold games, and he's probably looking at this and saying, all right, if I just give me another shot, let me get deep enough in the game, and I'm going to be able to beat him no matter what he does. Let's hope for Zest's case that's the way to play.
Well, looking at it, I really like where Creator's at, as long as he doesn't mess up with these Oracles. They're getting similar stuff. All this stuff that Zest has early on probably won't do too much from early on, especially considering he just used a bunch of force fields. Whereas the Oracles are going to gain value as long as they're alive. Stasis wards are okay in this matchup. Tagging is always great, and obviously any probes you get is fantastic.
And speaking of probes, we saw 4 killed off there. Immortals are being pumped out, but we have a Warp Prism being made here for Zest. We'll see where he sends that Warp Prism, but as Artosis was saying earlier, probably a high chance it'll go into the main.
Yeah, most likely. Look at that. 6 probes, 7 probes. Creator's dominating right now. This is a really good spot for him. Even getting an Immortal and a Phoenix to chase down any prisms that come out. I mean, this is... Where does Zest go from here? I'm afraid that he's going to start Glaives. That's what I'm afraid of.
That Warp Prism's going to be coming in right here, right now. Creator immediately denies this. And with the Phoenix over here, this Warp Prism's just going to take a beating.
Void Ray on the way as well, so he's just making super sure he can't die to anything, as he does have an advantage. Unfortunately, that Prism going to fall immediately. But Zest starts Blink, and I want to expand on this, why I was afraid he might go Glaives. If he went Glaives in this position, it's not exactly an all-in, but it points towards that, where it's like, okay, like, you're not stopping Stargate units. You're just trying to, like, have brute force to knock this guy over. And the way that Creator's playing, going into Immortals and Void Rays, yeah, those are good against Blink Stalkers, but the Blink Stalkers give Zest flexibility to make it into the late game.
Yeah, I think you are correct. He's kind of ready for anything. Another Void Ray coming out here now for Creator, as we should be having third bases taken shortly. Also, it's Zest over here getting the Forge up, so he'll be getting those upgrades very soon.
See Adept just trying to check out whatever it can. More gates being added by Creator. Third base going to go to Zest a little bit quicker. Not a big surprise there. Even stopping the scouting. Ooh,
you got to hand it to Creator. Gosh, I don't know which of these two I really want to have win, because Zest has had a very good run, and I think he's such a big name. It's really exciting to have him in a GSL ever. But Creator is a guy who's always, at least for the last several years, been kind of at the bottom of the pecking order.
Yeah. He's been one of the weakest Protoss players out of all the Koreans that you really consider pros. Like, he's just one that, yeah, he basically has lost everything. We saw that record against Live, 2 wins, 12 losses. So, I do have to point out that Creator turned on the Void Ray against an Adept.
Yeah, it was a little bit overkill.
Like, I'm like, well, I mean, that doesn't do anything, so that's kind of weird, but okay.
Sure, I got excited. I don't normally use these things.
Yeah. Okay, this move out, Zest took the further away. Ooh, wow, yeah,
Careful.
Zest
Careful,
has to
nerd.
slow this.
Okay, he might try to yoink one of these ones in the end up.
Yeah,
now,
nice
if he can
kill.
thin out Zest's army, considering Zest is taking a third base while Creator's still powering, he might be able to come in here and smash this Nexus.
He might be dead. Okay, Zest is making an Archon. That's a nice unit.
That's a nice unit.
Yeah.
I like how you phrase that.
He's got to get his mothership core down here right now. Oh my God.
Okay, well, he now sees that the third is completely exposed and says, I'll take that.
Yeah, with this unit set, if you're going Blink, like, you can't keep your third up. So
he gets the Warp Prism.
That's really nice.
Creator has immediately started remaking the Warp Prism. Now, he needs to get back home first. Now, there's an Archon here which can squash us, any force fields, but at the same time, it looks like he just wants to play very safe. So Zest now backs up. Zest still on 2 bases. I do not believe the Creator should be trying to come in here. He should at least have a Warp Prism with this. This is kind of crazy.
There's like a chance that he can kill Zest here, but like he's got a really good set of units that are going to transition well later into this game. So if he goes up there and loses them, then Zest can win. Like right there, basically. But I don't know. Creator's Army is really scary, man. I'm surprised that Zest, I don't see Zest's Mothership Core down there, because if Creator goes up and there's no Photon overcharges, then he can just kill him. But look at it, Zest is taking a sick risk going around right now. Oh, God, he can't hold on. Oh, boy. Not even close.
No, there's no way. He's going to come in here and just smash this expansion, and I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but Zest is probably going to lose this 0-2.
Dude, Zest out in the round of 32. Both seasons this year.
I know.
Crazy.
Times have changed, Artosis.
Yeah.
Now, with force fields readily available, there's really no way that the Zest can pick the fight that he wants to have. These Stalkers in the upper left are just not going to be that handy. They're going to crash right into Immortals and Void Rays.
This is, like, there's not really much Zest can do here. There's way too much anti-Stalker damage.
GG. All right. That's our reality. Creator defeats Zest. 2-0.
Well, what can you say? Creator played very well in both those games.
Yeah, he did.
Zest wasn't playing like crappily, but yeah. I don't know what else to say here. Like he tried to take a third base, and there was Immortals and Void Rays and Sentries and Adepts, and like you have Blink Stalkers, you're not going to do anything against that.
Wow, I wonder what it's like to be Zest right now.
Well, it's probably still awesome.
I mean, this is a guy who everybody who played Protoss was looking up to, and it seems like he's getting rendered obsolete in every season we've had so far this year of the GSL Code S.
Yeah, in GSL he's not doing well. In some of these other leagues he's still performing, but that's the end of him here.
We'll be right back, guys. Coming up next, Alive versus Creator.